Buenas and half a day, everyone. This is Gabriela Diaz, and I'm currently studying at the University of Guam this semester. So this week was a little more hectic than usual. I had a lot of assignments due, just routine assignments that I'm supposed to be turning in weekly, and like a lot of prep for final exams, final presentations. I had a couple family events that I went to this week, and I also went on a pretty big soil science field trip on Wednesday. And we went to the southern part of Guam to do some soil, like some scientific analyses of basically this big excavation site, this big ditch in the southern part of Guam, where they do a lot of farm work and agriculture work with the soil here, with the regional soil. And so we kind of got to take a look at some of the soil that was excavated. My Mondays and Wednesday classes are also a little more busy than I'd usually have. And so my Mondays and Wednesdays, I actually start at 11 a.m. and then I don't finish my day until 7:20 p.m. And this is my first time ever having a schedule where my Tuesdays and Thursdays are only one class, but then Mondays and Wednesdays again are pretty full. And they're pretty much all day classes. And I've never had to go through a school semester with this kind of schedule before. So this semester has been really interesting seeing how well I can work and how I can really taper my work schedule to like such a different schedule than I normally have. So I remember having gone on that soil science field trip, and we're working in 85-degree weather during like the hottest part of the day, which is around 1 to 3:30 p.m. when the sun's almost at its peak highest, and it's hot and it's humid and it's raining, and so we're in the heat and we're under the sun working with soil, and we're dirty and we're sweating. And again, like I go till 7:20 every Wednesday, so I come home usually from these, I don't even come home, I come back to campus after these soil science field trips, and I have maybe 10-20 minutes to get ready for my next class. This is a Chamorro language class, and it's a little more demanding than other classes because it's a foreign language class. So on top of the soil science field trip, I also ended up going to my grandmother's house up in the village of Jigo to celebrate my grandpa's his birthday party. And I got to see a lot of my family members that I don't see too often, and these are family members that live here. And kind of the same thing when I spent some time with my dad's side of the family on Sunday. And my Filipina grandmother on my dad's side is my dad's mother. She's in her 90s, she's in her late 90s, and so she's an elder. And well, because I'm not here as often and I'm not living here on Guam, I don't get to see her often either. And so I'm really trying to maximize and take advantage of the time that I have here to spend time with her and see the family that I don't often see throughout the school year. So we ended up having a little bit of a potluck at my Lola's house in Dedero. And so we all brought food, and we spent time with each other. We visited my Lola, and I actually went on a last minute trip up to the northern part of the island where some of my dad's in-laws actually have property over kind of by the cliffside up in northern Guam in an area called Arunau. And so I went with a couple of my cousins to Arunau, and we went swimming, and we went to a barbecue there that was being hosted there by some family members and some friends, and it was a really good time. And I really wanted to emphasize that in this week's video with some of the footage that I took while we were driving up to Arunau, just thinking about the seemingly endless just miles of military fences and just fenced off property that really should be held by Chamorro hands and really is Chamorro land, and just all the construction sites that are basically to make way for more military personnel that are going to be relocated here with the military buildup. And of course, to kind of build off of what I talked about in an earlier video, while I've been here, it's just about the military buildup, but also the proposed live firing range in Latexen, which is in the northern part of the island. Too is also not only are we relocating hundreds and thousands of military personnel from Okinawa here, but we're also having all their dependents. And so their families are coming with them also. And so you need land and you need housing for all those people that are going to come here. And that land has to come from somewhere, and that's coming from Chamorro lands. So you're seeing a lot of bulldozers really clearing off the land for these purposes. And it's just, you think about the northern part of the island, which a lot of it really is protected as a national and recognized really as a national wildlife refuge by the U.S. National Park Service, and it's being threatened by the proposed military buildup and live firing range at La Texan. And you know, you could look at all this land that's up north on Guam, and you can really recognize it as, you know, you can understand it, you know, as one thing, as, you know, just beautiful, and it's pristine, and it's natural, and it's nature. And I mean, I guess you could look at it like that, but that's also land that was taken from indigenous people that are still alive today. So there's a lot of land theft going on. And as a Chamorro environmentalist, you know, I'm taking these classes and I'm learning about all the specificities of different kind of soil regions and just basic soil properties and chemical and biological properties of soil that I'm receiving at the UOG. And I'm working with this, and this really informs how I view the land. And then I also have some of the cultural and also traditional ecological knowledges from like the Chamorro side of my family really kicking in and coming together. Both really, they're really reflective of how Chamorros view themselves as really tied to the land and really respecting the land. And, you know, having that connection, that distinct connection that, you know, non-Chamorros don't have to the land that they're on, it definitely presents a sense of urgency. And so, you know, when I've been living here and thinking about a lot of the personal growth I've experienced while I've been here, is that I've been here long enough to really grasp just how much land is going to be cleared off and used for military purposes, and just seeing how much land is, you know, you may say that, you know, Guam is small. It's only a small land base, but proportionately, if a good chunk of that land is being used for military purposes, it's devastating. And it's not just devastating to the ecosystem, but it's devastating to the people who are tied to that land and who have relatives living and on that land and living from the land as farmers, and relatives who are buried within the land itself. And I really want to emphasize this once again, because we often think about studying abroad in the Pacific as just getting away from like the snow in the Midwest, or, you know, wherever you're living, and just going to an exotic destination spot. And it's really nasty because it erases all of these things happening right now. And for me, coming back home wasn't about being able to go back to the beach and slack off every other weekend. It was about coming here and really nurturing my relationship to the land, and, you know, understanding myself and my history and my culture and my language, reclaiming a lot of those relationships really in light of like living in the United States and not exactly having exposure to resources and opportunities that'll help inform my perspective on those things. On that note, I'd like to say Sana Masi all for watching, and just for those of you who've been keeping up with some of my commentary or just kind of tuning into the National Student Exchange Program this semester, we really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the NSE channel on YouTube for more content, and I'll see you guys next week.